Marcus Rashford is revitalising his career day by day at Aston Villa with a custom-made role in Unai Emery's tactics, and it looks like we're just at the beginning here. With Rashford having an increased number of touches, more opportunity for freedom, and a special partnership brewing with another Aston Villa player, it's as rosy as it's looked for Rashford in a long time. But remember, this season was actually one of Rashford's worst in a Man United shirt before he left for Aston Villa. With only 4 goals and 1 assist, Manchester United's manager Ruben Amorim seemingly had enough and felt he was dispensable. But why? So to be fair to Amorim, he tried out Rashford in 3 different positions. He played as a striker in Amorim's very first game. He played on the right side of that front 3, kind of as a 10, but looking to stretch it and work in a bit of a partnership with Joshua Zirkzee in a 4-0 win against Everton, and on the left-hand side against Victoria Pilsen. So, why after a goal against Ipswich and 2 goals against Everton did Amorim decide he doesn't fit the system? Of course, it would be wrong for me to not touch on off-the-pitch issues. Amorim clearly had problems with Rashford's supposed work ethic in training, and there's been a whole host of rumours of which I'm not going to talk about because I don't know if they're true or not. But on the pitch, why did Amorim decide that he didn't fit the system? Well, this was a problem that many pointed out this season from Rashford. Højlund has won the ball here and is looking to play a pass. Rashford's body language is somewhat closed, meaning that he's going to need to take a touch to then turn instead of instinctively being on the half turn, being ready, being energetic, and being ready to drive into the space, something that Rashford can do fantastically well. Also, Rashford could ideally be a couple of yards higher up the pitch, which allows Højlund to play a forward pass to him rather than a lateral one. And because of this negative body language and flat-footedness, it means that he's not ready to receive the ball, allowing opposition players to then converge on him and just making it easier for him to be defended against. And whilst Rashford sorts his feet out, he's now under a lot of pressure, meaning that the opportunity to drive or to play out wide to Ahmad is gone. And the pass consequently has to go backwards, which decreases any chance of a fast tempo attack. But the secondary movement here was also an issue. When the ball is switched to Mazraoui, Rashford should have ideally been making this run into this part of the pitch, because Ahmad's positioning has drawn out the left back, meaning an overload would have been possible. But instead, Rashford is jogging up the pitch at a slow tempo. And although somewhat immature if it is the case, this could have been down to him not being played in his favourite position. Something Unai Emery has addressed in a really interesting way. But when playing on the left under Amorim, there were issues as well. Against Victoria Pilsen, Rashford started as the left attacker, which in theory is his favoured position, but it came with problems in Amorim's system. Rashford was often picking up the ball in this half space, so when he wanted to dribble, it often meant attempting to dribble through congested areas. 2 important things here. Firstly, the amount of opposition players blocking his route to the box, and secondly, the distance between Rashford and the 18-yard box. Having that many bodies between you and the box just makes it very difficult to bypass, and the distance away from goal also limits any kind of effectiveness that he could have had. And because of this, Rashford is forced to pass the ball out wide, all resulting in Rashford not being able to inject any directness into the Man United team and utilise the strengths that he has, the strengths that made him famous, the strengths that made him fly in certain seasons at Man United. So the immediate question when Rashford signed for Aston Villa, of course, was, couldn't you have had a shave before you took the pictures? And probably more importantly, where will he play? A question that was made even harder to answer when Rashford was given the number 9 shirt. This was Rashford's touch map from Ruben Amorim's first game in charge against Ipswich, where Rashford played as a striker. And this was Rashford's touch map in his Aston Villa debut, which also came against Ipswich. What you notice is that Rashford has so many more touches when he played for Villa. But the crazy thing is, Rashford played 68 minutes in the first game, whilst playing 50 minutes in his second one. So how did he manage to get 49 more touches? The answer lies in this. This is a map demonstrating every pass Marcus Rashford received against Ipswich on his Villa debut, and what you notice is a significant portion of them are passes into the final third, into a wide area, and this demonstrates a change that Unai Emery has made which gets the best out of Rashford. Tielemans passes the ball out to Tyrone Mings here, and what happens next is crucial. Mings, without taking a touch, passes it to Rashford. This is important because it keeps the tempo high, but you'll also see two differences here in Rashford's positioning and body language. The first, he's on his toes, waiting to receive the ball. Secondly, he's peeled extremely wide. Why is he on his toes, by the way? Probably because he knows he's going to get the ball and get the ball quickly. And why is he wide? Because he wants to create that distance between him and the Ipswich defender so he can have a bloody go at him. And look at the positivity here. Rashford is instantly in a position in which he can take on the defender. And because the ball was passed to him quickly, it means Ipswich haven't been able to pack that area with bodies, allowing Rashford freedom to be direct and target the space. Which, to be honest, is what you think about when you think of Rashford. Close your eyes and imagine Rashford. You think of him out wide, on the ball, ready to be able to drive inside or go outside if he wants to. Ah, Rashford. Qatar 2022. What could have been? And with the space to drive into, it means Rashford can take more touches and be influential in how he does it best. But what Rashford does next is demonstrative of the skill that he still possesses. He squares up the defender, and by opening up his body and shifting the ball onto his right foot, the defender now thinks that Rashford is trying to cut in on his right foot and shoot. But this is done to allow Rashford to go the other way by taking a second touch with his left foot and aiming for the byline, allowing him to get to this dangerous area and to play a cutback across the 6-yard box. Seeing this, it's exactly why probably everyone talks about him so much, because there is no doubt that the talent and also the athleticism is there. He clearly just needed maybe a move to ignite and spark it in him. And to ram home the point, that sequence of play was a total of 8 touches. And all because Rashford was given the ball early. Bearing in mind, he got a total of 13 touches in 68 minutes against Ipswich when playing for Man United. But the defining moment that we realised Rashford was back was against Chelsea. So again, Rashford is subbed on in the second half here, and he had less touches this time, having 27 touches, but his positioning and instructions were crucial in him providing both assists that saw Villa win the game 2-1. And his first assist since October of last year. This is how he did it. Despite the ball being on the other side of the pitch, you can clearly see the instructions that Rashford has been given by Unai Emery. And that's to constantly be provoking the opposition's back four. And he does this by keeping an advanced position at every possible chance. So once Matty Cash cuts into his left foot, Rashford is ultra reactive to it. And you can see that he's the only player on the pitch that is anticipating the ball being played to the back post. On his toes, excited, invigorated, revived. This is Rashford. This is the Rashford that we're seeing. It's just what we wanted to see from someone with this kind of talent. And so with Rashford on his toes and realising that this pass is on its way early, he gets on the end of it and is able to tap it back across the box to bring Aston Villa level. Villa playing it early into Rashford and him expecting the ball to come to him is clearly a strong theme of his improvement. But there was one other player who came on as a substitute in this match that is also helping Rashford flourish through the counteracting movements of this pair. That man, of course, is Marcus Asensio. Camara plays the ball early to Rashford, as we've already seen in this video, but the distance between Rashford and Gusto is huge, and that's because Asensio has made this run. He's ran across the back four whilst also in enough space to mean that none of them follow him. But it's so important because this plants a seed of doubt in Gusto's mind as to where the ball is going, allowing Rashford to get the ball in space. And once Rashford gets the ball, Asensio immediately turns away because he was only making that run to allow Rashford to receive the ball in space. He moves away to allow Rashford the space to isolate Gusto and take him on one-on-one. But Asensio knows that... No, actually, let me kind of leave it there. Asensio knows. This is what I thought might work so well when it came to these two players, is that Asensio, he knows, he sees the game, he feels the game. He's been at Real Madrid where he's just understanding and feeling out those different reference points, and he's able to understand the movement of others and the players close by to him. And he works in those pairs. He's great at providing that glue for the team. And importantly, providing that glue for players that have that pace, that have that counteractive movement to him. And so, Asensio knows that Rashford also wants to head to the byline and make a great reactionary run to this. And whilst the cross doesn't find Asensio this time, expect these two to combine like this frequently whenever they're both on the pitch, because the winning goal came from a Rashford cross from a short corner, directly into the path of Asensio, who shows clever movement to wait for the ball instead of joining in with the mosh pit on the edge of the 6-yard box. And that gives Rashford his second assist of the game, thereby doubling the amount of assists he got at Man United in the first half of the season in the space of 45 minutes. But the question is this: if Rashford continues in this vein of form, what will Manchester United do with him this summer?